And we're back. So these are the 8 chips that are an issue on this board. I'm not exactly sure how the quadrants are subdivided. As you can see, there it looks like there's 4 controllers, maybe 5 controllers um, for the section. So I assume like there's batches. This one kind of trying to follow the trace. Looks like the trace comes down from here and then starts in this way, and then it looks like there's maybe 4 and then another 4, but I'm not really sure. It's really quite. I'm just guessing at this point. Um, Either way, we know this is 49 and we know this is 56. So I'm gonna try removing this guy first, and again, I'm gonna remove them all just because I don't know if it's one single line all in sequence, which I doubt based on what I'm seeing. These connections up here. So I'd rather say I take this one out thinking it'll cut the whole chain, but then I plug it in and these 4 are still active. I'll just take them all out, whatever. And they're all problematic anyway. Or at least this section of the board. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a board issue, not a chip issue. So maybe I'll just keep the chips as replacements if ever needed. That is what I'll do. But so I gotta get the heat gun ready, and then I'm gonna start removing these. I don't really have a tripod to put this on, so can't really film it. But that's what we're gonna do. All right. Well, I finished step 1, which is removing the heat sinks on the back side of the chips. Obviously, these middle rows don't have anything. I assume on a KS3 they would, but they are on those same traces. So I just removed them all for this whole section that I'm essentially decommissioning here. You got to do this because the pins from the chips connect to the backside through the solder to all these heat sinks. So essentially, each of your ASIC chips is dissipating heat both on this side of the board and on the other side of the board. So I have to remove these on this side first, and now I'm going to flip it over, and we should be able to hopefully remove, our chips here. So that'll be the next. As you guys can see, I did get all 8 of those chips removed. Not the cleanest job. And I may have destroyed the whole board for all I know. I really don't know. Obviously, I have to use extreme heat, and it's right next to all these, which I don't even know what these things are. And some of these got a little loose while I was doing that. I tried to put them back exactly where they were. I don't know what they're for either. Again, I might have just wiped out the whole bottom of this board, but at least the top should still work. And honestly, that's better than nothing. Because right now I can't run this board at all. It just turns off. But hopefully we only took out the 8 that are problematic. We're going to let this cool. It's still very, very, very hot. I did take off the plastic. I tried to keep it where I'm going to retain chips. But as you can see, that kind of didn't quite work as well either. A little bit of heat did some stuff. But yeah, definitely got it cool for a little bit. It's hot to the touch. If you are trying to get these off, I have a gun that has 2 settings, like a 550 Fahrenheit and I think it's like 950. 550 was not hot enough. It would not come off. The heat sinks on the back came off at that, but the chips themselves, no, absolutely not. So I had to use extreme heat. And yeah, again, no idea if this is actually going to work. We're going to hope for the best. But yeah, we'll get that heatsink back on in a little bit once this is not on fire. And yeah, maybe this will work. So it's finally here, the moment of truth. Have we saved this hashboard, or have we completely destroyed it? I hope there's not a short on this board, because I really hate flames at this point. Here we go. Alright, so far so good, no flames. Let's go check the backside though. I don't trust myself. All right, I don't see no flames, so that's a good thing so far. Let's go check on the computer, because I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I want to see that PSU stop blinking green though. Come on, there we go. All right, we're at full power. All right, let's head on over to the computer. Yep, that's right, guys. That is right. It did not work. The repair did not work, and then I tried a bunch of other things. None of it worked. This board, I killed it. I guess it'll be a good practice board for soldering and stuff in the future. But no matter what I did, couldn't get it to work. So we ended up buying a replacement board from IceRiver. They don't sell KS3L boards anymore, just the M's, which again are the exact same. The L and M are the exact same. The only difference is the control board, and that control board has a different base clock setting for the chips. So they sent me this KS3M version 1.1, which is the newest version of those boards. But again, had to give up on this guy. I wasted way too many hours on it. I mean, I'm sure I'll still play with it and whatnot, but from a current yield and profit perspective, wanted to get something up and running. So spending $2,000 on a replacement board was a no-brainer. Especially since this is 2 terahash for $2,000. So that's pretty good. What is that? Like $1 a gigahash? It's better than really anything on the market right now. So that's why it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, for God's sakes, like the Gold Shell new KA box does like 1.18 terahash and costs like $1,650. So $2,000 for 2 terahash. Whatever, we did it. But I do want to, again, for some reason they use really crap thermal paste. I had it in here already, and on the exact same settings, because these all have new thermal paste. These chips are like 20 degrees hotter Celsius. So we're gonna repaste these. But yeah, I had to give up. It defeated me for now. But again, I guess I now have a spare board that I can try my soldering skills on, and stuff like that. Maybe it'll work someday. Probably not though. So yeah, I'm gonna repaste this real quick. Then we're gonna throw it in there, get this machine up and running at full hash rate, and finally be on our way. I just feel a little defeated, but whatever. 6 terahash, here we come. All right, so you can see that I got the KS3M board in here now. It does look a little different. Capacitors are in slightly different places, and a few other very subtle differences. You can kind of see like there's an extra heatsink on the 2 L boards versus the M. Again, the new L boards are the same because there is no L board. They just make M boards. So this is like the version 1.1. So this is really, these differences are version 1.1 versus version 1.0. So not necessarily like an L versus M change, but just something to note that there has been updates to the board design. And this is a 1.1 versus these are 1.0s. So we're just going to close up this back spot now with the fan, turn this bad boy on, and hopefully get our 6 terahash